All right, Marty, we are live, and it is the Party with Marty podcast. Marty, I know you're wanting to tell everybody about some merchandise and stuff coming up.
Yeah, we put a few new things on the merchandise shop in the merchandise shop there at martygenetti.com. Some of the things we've got some trading cards. Try to put that where you can see it.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I forgot what this Addy. What's that thing do? The little Q space. But of course, we got the earrings of whatever you like.
That's cool.
They don't have to be that, but they give whatever you want. So we got necklaces, wristlets, little grab bag candy things for the kids and the novelty, just for the novelty of it.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah, there's tumblers. You can make tumblers with anything you want on it. This one's a Party with Marty, as with the coffee mug, Party with Marty, and as I say, she can make whatever you suggest. Stuff you can't get in the store, that your own idea and you would like it. She definitely can do it, even including mouse pads. Look at this one. Them damn rocker guys. I don't know. Shawn Michaels, I think's the other one's name. But yeah, go to martygenetti.com. Miss Marty, Marty, Genetti, JANNNETTY, martygenetti.com, and grab it today. We'll be putting more stuff in there. For now, we're ready for you. So come on and check us out. Also, come see me on Facebook over there. Like I say, I'm there all the time and interacting with the fans and friends. So y'all come check us out.
Yeah, man. I was telling him before we got on, you're looking really good this week, man. How you been feeling?
It was an up and down week, meaning there was a good day or two, and it was a rough day or two. Today's like intermediate. It's right in the middle of that, and it's okay though. We're getting better. I can take 5, 6, 10 steps with no crutches, with nothing. But it's been 8 weeks since the surgery, and I just feel like all the other surgeries was able to walk within 5 weeks, 4 weeks. Better than what I'm doing now, but my doctor explained to me that there's a cadaver bone they had to put in, and it's got to fuse together, grow together with my regular own bone. He said that's probably the bones grow a little slower than tissue, so it's taking this while. So you've got to be careful with it too, because that can come apart easily. He was saying if it starts growing in and I start banging around it too early to pop it out, and we have to go back in there.
Don't do that, man.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to.
Marty, our guest is here. I want to get him on in here.
Let's get him. Let's get him.
I've been friends with him for Facebook on years, but I've never gotten to meet him live. So, and there's Kamla. Do you know that was almost your president?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, Sugar Bear Harris.
And life size with no legs.
Oh. That's why they call him Inappropriate Earl.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get in trouble with that. Tony Atlas, he got on to me, called me a racist, and he knows better. But I guess he just wanted something to say, because I had putting up somebody sent it to me, and it had to do with a cartoon of Kamala Harris's head on that Kamala's body, and I guess some white guy leading him out to the ring. Yeah. And he thought it was racist. So, well, that's what he said. He knows me better than anybody, man. I hung out with him in his room with nobody but me to being the only white person there. He knows better than the racist crap. But we talked that out. We ironed that out, so all good now. How you doing, Earl?
It's an honor, Mr. Genetti.
Thank you, man.
You were one of my favorite wrestlers, and it's back when I thought the shit was real. So
it was real.
Yeah. No, but I mean, with no internet, now you can look up Kamala and find out he was from, Tupelo, Mississippi. But back then I really thought he was from Uganda.
I did too.
Yeah, that's right. Old Tupelo. I forgot about he was being from there.
So thank you for all your years of entertaining me. I very much appreciate it.
I appreciate it, brother. It's for people like you that appreciate it, that made it worthwhile, because there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going through them 30 years.
No, I know. I mean, I'm in a business of stand-up comedy, and it's a very similar business to yours. You get fucked over by promoters and agents and
same shit, huh? Damn.
A couple Pat Pattersons in my business too. Watch out.
I guess it is. There's a lot of similarities.
Minus the working out.
Well, you can do that on the side.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no ultimate warrior, but I look pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There you go, man. I was listening to you guys years ago before we got on here. I was telling Marty, when was you doing that podcast with Piper? I think he was like one of the first guys that really started doing the podcast. He was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, Roddy started coming up to the Comedy Store, I don't know, about 2013. And, it was like watching Superman drive in. He had that Richard Gere, American Gigolo type Mercedes. So he would pull up and, the Comedy Store parking lot, it's a lot like a pro wrestling locker room. No outsiders are allowed in that parking lot. And, that just goes to show you how much we all love Roddy. Like, they wouldn't even let Judo Gene LaBelle park in the lot for Roddy's memorial. And, he almost kicked the parking lot guy's ass because he's like, you know who I am? And me and Roddy just got along instantly. And his manager came up to me because I had done about a 20-minute set on how mad I was at how fucked over Sting got at WrestleMania. And
you did a whole set on that?
I'm still angry about it, Marty. Like, fucking guy's a reborn Christian. He lives his life right. And then you have him jobbed to Triple H in a horrible match. And Roddy's manager was like, hey, why didn't you come on? Roddy's sick of being the bad guy. You seem like you don't have a problem with it. And we were just instant friends. And, I mean, I know the fans didn't know who I was, so they were like, who the fuck is this bozo? But Roddy wanted me on the show, so I did it right up until he passed.
And it worked. It worked. I was one of those guys. I was like, who is this guy? And I went and found your podcast. But man, you got a lot of mutual likes. I saw you with Stephen Piercy. Yeah. That looks like your logo kind of reminds me of something there.
I paid $500 for this fucking neon sign. And then, Roddy was actually supposed to come to my house the day he passed away. And,
oh, man.
Because we had gotten kicked off of 2 podcast networks.
How'd y'all do that?
I was telling you a little bit about it.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying what I heard, Marty, but we were on Podcast One, which is a big podcast network out here. And, Roddy had a beef with Stone Cold.
I heard a little something. What was that all about?
Well, that actually happened right before I got there. Of course, I get the fallback for it, but Roddy had the very funny comic Will Sasso on, and Will is a master impressionist. I mean, his Jesse Ventura is
perfect.
You close your eyes, you think you're talking to Jesse Ventura.
And you would never know it, Marty.
Yeah.
If Will Sasso met you, Marty, for 5 minutes, he would have a spot-on impression of you. And he did an impression of Stone Cold drinking beers in his truck with his wonder dog, Hershey. And Stone Cold apparently did not like the impression. And he never, the impression never delved into any personal topics. It was just a stupid impression. And I think Stone Cold said to Podcast One, it's either him or me. You guys make the choice.
Shit.
And his numbers, I mean, Roddy's numbers were very good, but I guess you'd say Stone Cold's were a little better. So you can guess who they went with.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we went to another podcast network. Numbers very good. And mysteriously were let go. And then he was going to come to my house and just start doing it there until we figured it out. And, you know, he passed away. I left him a message on his machine, not knowing he had passed away. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, least you could do is call me if you're being late.
Oh, shit. You know, I learned a lesson about that myself. You know, never give them hell till you find out what happened. Then
100%.
give them hell. Because I mean, somebody didn't make it to see me one time, and I left, like left her a nasty message, and found out later she passed away in a car crash. But that was like, oh man, the message I left that just about killed me, and I learned then don't ever until you find out. Then, like if it's a bullshit reason, then you can go crazy on them. But yeah.
Well, then I saw his wife at the memorial. I had to host the memorial, and she gave me a big hug, and I started crying. And she's like, "Hey, Earl, I just want you to know I heard that last message."
Oh shit!
So, but yeah, we all loved him at the Comedy Store. Like he was.
Did he ever try to get up and do a routine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got up every time he showed up. We put him up, of course, right away, and he wouldn't tell jokes necessarily. He would do more stories. He would start off with a few jokes, and then he'd kind of get a little nervous, and then I'd yell out a question like, "Hey, Roddy, it's Earl in the back. How big was Abdullah the Butcher's dick?"
Oh, help him going. Okay, good.
And then he'd go into an Abdullah the Butcher story. And
that's
yeah.
There's I don't know, it may still be doing it now, but a few years back, maybe 10 or so, it was a big deal about wrestlers going around touring, doing comedies. I mean, Bobby Heenan was doing it. Beefcake was doing it. There was tons of them. Lawler, there was tons of them doing this. Beefer had gotten in touch with me. He said, "Hey, man, they'll pay you this much. Go do the comedy thing. You only got to do 30 to 40 minutes." But I'm like, but I don't have no material. I don't know how to do that. And like you were just saying about Roddy would get a little nervous. I was going to do one. And I thought just tell all the funniest wrestling stories I know. And I was sitting there like scared to death. And I'm thinking I can go out and bounce around a ring in front of 20,000 people, but I'm afraid to go in a little comedy store and get on stage and talk. I mean, it makes sense to me, but it's weird. It's because I don't see it where a wrestler talking stories is a comedy thing, but they can be. There's some funny ass stories to be told.
Oh, but sure. Yeah. I mean, I used to open up for Jake the Snake, and he would not do any jokes. He would just go right into stories. And,
is that right?
He'd usually start off with a story about he was riding in a car with Brutus Beefcake, and Beefcake was telling him, "Hey, I think my wife is fucking Rick Rude." Then they look over to the left, and the car speeds by with Beefcake's wife and Rick Rude in the car.
Oh,
Now, he would make that little story into about a 30-minute story. And
add all the pieces to it.
Yeah. And it was, you would kill because you just have to tell stories. And, like, obviously with your history, you might have someone, I'm not saying me necessarily, but you have a comic warm up the crowd and all that. Preferably someone who likes wrestling, so they get the crowd into the.
That's what several like Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. That's what he had told me one time. He was, "Marty, they want to hear wrestling stories. Don't worry about a comedy routine. It is a comedy routine." He said I one time put on my job application, previous job. He goes, he'd been wrestling, but he said he put on their clown. He has his previous occupation. It's just like there's so much shit that happens on the road, and I'm sure you see that in your industry too with the comedy thing. That if you remembered all this, for me there's just so much because we're on the road 300 days a year and party 300 of them. 325 a year would party 300 of them. And when you get out and party around people that much, there's going to be stories to tell, so you end up forgetting some until somebody mentions it later. I'm like, oh yeah. But I'm sure you've experienced that too, right?
Oh, well, I mean, not on your level, but I'm sure my groupies and your groupies look about 100 pounds heavier.
I don't know.
But like
in the younger days, yeah, the ours were looked like they all were farm hands from Nebraska. But as wrestling started evolving and getting better and better and better, and so did the clientele.
I mean, I was with a girl the other night. She looked like the Big Boss Man. So and Akeem, her friend looked like Akeem. But yeah, you'd kill. Like I was on the Ric Flair roast, and like
you did a good job too, man.
I mean, I heard about that. Where can I find that?
That I get no money from this, so I don't want people to think I'm trying to make money off them. I think it's still on Fight TV.
Okay, it's very hard to find.
Well, it's harder to find than Ric Flair's next wife, but he really burns through them. And I think that's spelled FITE.
Yeah,
it's on there, and you would have killed.
That's like advice. Okay, Fight TV.
Yeah, so that was really fun. I mean,
I heard you did a hell of a job, man.
I mean, I got in trouble for one joke, but they told wrestlers and comics, I think, are like little kids. You tell us not to do something, we want to do it.
Yeah, we want to find out why we can't do that.
Well, yeah. So something I noticed with that, Earl, I mean, I don't know if you could talk about this on there or like when he was on Kill Tony. Did Ric Flair really understand what a roast was? It seemed like he didn't realize why everybody was kind of going hard on him.
No, you go ahead and answer that.
Oh, well, I mean, I think, Kill Tony is different than a roast because Kill Tony is basically Tony and maybe a celebrity friend like Rick shitting on these young open mic comics. And I don't think Rick knew that. Like, I think he thought, oh, this will be like my roast where everyone's, rips into me for whatever reasons they can, and then they'll pay tribute to me. Like at the end, we all said, hey, Rick, we love you. I mean,
right.
I said some awful things about him. I will say the one joke I got in trouble for was we were told right before, do not joke about Torrie Wilson's lawsuit with Vince McMahon. Ooh. So, me, that's the first joke I led with. It's like, hey, Ric Flair's made millions and millions of dollars, and he didn't even have to fuck Vince. That's got to kill you, Torrie. And she shot me a little bit. I mean, Marty, I'm a rogue agent. They tell I'm like the warrior.
Man. We'll get along.
You know why Roddy wanted him in the hot seat?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Roddy's manager. He said, hey, Roddy sometimes loses his place. Sorry, that's my dog coughing. Sorry about that. My dog is my my dog is my kimchi, right? Just shut up. But Roddy would lose his place. Like he'd be telling a story about, say, Kerry Von Erich, and then he'd kind of just randomly start talking about Sting or someone. So I was brought in to kind of right the ship.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. Eric does that for me. I'll start talking about a story. If I pause for 1 second, thinking of something else, I mean, just a split second, I forgot where I was at.
You guys got so many stories going on in your head. It's like, where do I want to go to? Could you imagine trying to get inside of Roddy's head and like, which story do I want to lead with?
Yeah, I mean, probably the funniest incident we had was we did most of the interviews by phone because most wrestlers don't live in Los Angeles, very few. And Roddy lost his train of thought, and it was 9 a.m. So we were interviewing Greg Valentine. And, yeah. So I wasn't really paying attention. Roddy lost his train of thought. The manager's looking at me like, say something, ask a question, Earl. And just the first thing that popped into my head was, hey, Mr. Valentine, what you think of the Billy and Chuck Gay wedding angle? And let's just say we couldn't air the next 15 minutes.
Did you ever get an answer about Abdullah the Butcher's dick?
No, I'm still looking for it.
Marty, do you know?
What?
Never
What
mind.
wait, I missed it. I missed something.
No, to get Roddy going, usually at the Comedy Store, I would just say, "Hey, how big was Abdullah the Butcher's dick?" And his real name Larry. And Roddy never answered me, so I never got the answer. So
I mean, maybe couldn't find it like you said.
I mean, he was a big boy, that no doubt about it.
Abby?
I ate at his rib joint once, man, and he was behind the grill. I'm like, I'm good.
Oh, you sweating up, was it?
Oh,
how was it, man? I heard it was actually really good.
Well,
I thought so.
I mean, here's a guy who's got hepatitis. It's known. I don't think I'm like breaking any speaking out of school here. And he's like, he wasn't in shape. Let's be honest.
Never has been.
Probably 200 pounds overweight. And sweat's dripping onto the grill. I'm like,
on the grill. Okay, that would be it. That'd be it. Right.
I'm getting mental
images.
images.
Have a Snickers bar. You didn't make those, did you?
When Abby would slam us and come give us that big elbow of his lats would just cover your face like a loose water balloon and go around you. You couldn't breathe for a second.
Oh my God! I mean, there's no way he could fully wipe.
You had to get help. I feel bad. I'm talking about my boy, man. He just lives up the street, or did.
Oh, I love him. Listen, hold on here. Let me show you how much I love him here. Hold on.
I love that logo, Earl. I mean, I am correct in thinking that's kind of a playoff rat, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even his doll is fat.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see it.
I think I'd rather be stabbed by the fork than have the titty flap on me.
I don't know. They're both brutal.
Listen, I may joke around a lot, but I love every wrestler we've talked about. And
oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of them and give me what you think about them, or if you have any experience with them. Don't I love all of them, and I'm pretty sure most of them love me back. The one that I just had a bad taste in my mouth about, and not like that, was Paul Lee Dangerously. How do you feel about him?
Never met him. Just as a fan, I liked him, but I'll be honest with you, Marty. I've had great experiences with almost every wrestler except for Stone Cold.
Yeah, that sucks too because he's a good dude.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Maybe I caught him on a wrong day.
What was it he got mad about, though, Earl? I mean, I know he got impersonated, but Steve just reminds me of somebody that would have laughed about that. I just don't see how he.
Yeah, that surprises
took
me
such
too.
offense to it.
Because he's.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but I think he was mad that I kind of stood up for Roddy and Roddy's book. After Roddy had passed, they did an autobiography, and the family was in charge of the book
Posthumously. I remember that.
So I think I said something to the effect of, I don't know why Stone Cold is so upset. It's a stupid impression. I mean, this is coming from a guy who cracked beer cans on his head and drank.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm an idiot for the jokes I do. And so I'm a fan. I just, but outside of Stone Cold, I mean, I remember when I met the Ultimate Warrior, probably right before he passed away. He was doing an autograph signing at a music store, and every single person who I knew that knew him was like, dude, you don't want to meet him. He can be a little prickly. And I knew his entertainment lawyer, same thing. Earl, you don't want to meet him. He's insane. And I got to be honest with you, Marty. He couldn't have been any nicer to me. He was in full getup, and he called me Earl, and I was the last person in the line. I thought, oh man, he's going to be kind of a dick. I get it. You guys meet hundreds of people. I'm sure you get tired after a while saying, hey, I loved you with Shawn Michaels, and or you just want to be left alone to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was awesome to me. So I've been lucky in terms of the wrestlers I've met.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad to hear that, because sometimes like one of y'all just said, it's according to how they were feeling that when maybe they were having a bad day. A lot of times it is that, because when we toured for 325 days a year, unlike what they do now, nothing against the guys now, but just saying, I don't think they would have stuck around with those kind of years, year after year after year. But, there comes a time after 25 days on the road in a row, you get worn down a little bit. And of course, at one point, there was the recreational party drugs on, and then you do that to stay up, and then you do something to go down to take a nap before your next show, up and down, up and down. Eventually, after so many roller coaster up and downs, you get a little cranky, and
it's a vicious cycle, man.
Yeah. And I think that's when the guys, Warrior was, for a guy that looked so good and get the best body in the world, on top of the world in wrestling, he was the most miserable human. I never understood that. Just bitched and complained and hated everything. He only really would have anything to do with me and Jim Powers. He invite us to stay in his room. He would get a broom closet just to be by himself out of the dressing room. He'd come by and do the old traditional handshake with everybody, and then he'd go get away from everybody. He didn't want to be in the same room. He wanted to just be in his own spot, and he would find broom closets. Then he'd ask me or Jimmy or both of us, "Hey man, come in here." And it was funny because when he'd leave the door crack for air, and as soon as somebody walked by, he'd say, "Oh, hey Warrior. Hey, how you doing?" And then as they walk past, like, "Oh, fuck yourself." All of them. Man, it was funny. I remember one time I called him though. That same kind of thing. I walked by, and said, "Hey, Warrior, how you doing?" He said, "Hey, Marty." And I stopped and turned back, and he was just about to say, "Go fuck yourself." And he played it off like, "I knew he was going to do that." Yeah, okay.
But yeah. I mean, I'm around a lot of comics like that. They're successful and they get all the money and pussy they want, and they're still miserable. So
yeah,
I think
he didn't towards the end, like we were gone from WWF doing independent wrestling stuff. We'd be over in different countries, and we'd be signing for whatever time frame, 5 to 8 or whatever, and he would do a little signing either before us so he'd get the hell out or after us. And one time it overlapped as we were leaving. He was just coming in. They said he'll be coming in as y'all are leaving. And Honky Tonk Man, he goes, "Well, what are we supposed to do? Turn our head if he sees us?" We're not allowed to look at him. It was seriously that bad, though, man. It was almost like he hated the industry, but he was a star in it. So how does that work?
I mean, it's like the comics I know that they're not in the business because they like making people laugh, or in his case, he just fit the look that was in at the time. He didn't like the business part of it, so they're just in it for the money. I get it, I guess, to a degree.
Yeah, and I guess that was him because, Jake the Snake tells the story of, how he was really rude to Jake, and Jake's one of the, icons in our business. They had to do a program together, work a storyline together. And he said the first time he said, okay, went in to talk to Warrior. Warrior said, "Listen, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your family. I don't give a shit about this business. You fuck up one of my shows, motherfucker, you're going to be sorry." That's not how one of the guys talks to another of the guys on top at close to the same level. Even if you're above that person, man, you don't talk down to people like that.
I'm curious, Marty, do you think, because I've heard a lot of the politics that went on behind stage, do you think that could have had something playing into it?
Yeah, it could have been, of course, but it might not have been. The Warrior was just... No,
I got you.
The way he was with me, you made me wonder, how's he that nice to me and so bitter at everybody? What did I do right? That's probably the worst one to hang out with.
Did you ever get a... Go ahead, man.
I'll give you a quick example of a typical Warrior thing, though. He was miserable about everything. We're in Detroit going to go out. All the boys going to the same club, which generally happened. And it was one supposed to be a big night. Everybody's like, go right down. It wouldn't but a mile from the hotel. So yeah, we'll go there. And Warrior's telling me as he sees me going, he goes, Marty, let me know the name of the club and hurry, and let me know. I'll be up there. Just hold it down for me until I get there. So we're in there and they're having a banana eating contest where the girls on stage and they put a banana far down as they can in their throat and pull back out without breaking it. And the guys, well, it might have been just guys that night at the club. I didn't see too many women except the ones swallowing bananas. But they had the runoff. There was like 3 girls, and the first girl did like 7 inches, I think. When they announced it, you could imagine the guys, yeah, wow, yeah. And then the next girl up, the final girl did 9 inches, and the place went absolutely berserk. And Warrior walks in, and I'm standing right there closest to the door, and he walks up, and he goes, what's going on? What's this crazy? I said, look, the girl on stage just did 9 inches in her mouth of banana. And he stares. He goes, look how fucking thin the banana is, though. Just can't be happy, man.
Some people are like that, though. They're just born miserable, and that's another parallel in our business. You could give a comic a movie, they're upset. You give them a TV show, they're upset. You give a wrestler the strap or prime TV time, they want more.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing comedy, Earl?
I'm like the Samoa Joe of comedy. I've done it forever, and I peaked late, so I'm just getting my flowers, I guess you'd say. 25 years.
Oh wow!
So it's
you did a lot of time at the Comedy Store, right, with Mitzi?
Actually, when I was first coming up, Mitzi was, I want to say this as respectful as I can, she was declining in health, so I didn't really get to interact with her. I was when I first started the Comedy Store, to coin a wrestling term, it was like the tail end of WCW. It was the dark days, very empty, and the inmates ran the asylum. Now it makes millions of dollars, and it's a very polished presentation when you go there. But when I first started, it was not that. It was not that presentation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, is there any questions anybody got for Earl?
No, man. Everybody's just been laughing about everything that's been going on. You guys got some questions? Put them down in there. I'm curious, Earl. Did you ever get to meet Kamla? I know that was one of the #1 wrestlers you talked about all the time.
I really wanted to induct him into the Hall of Fame. I've been his champion forever, and no, I knew his manager, and he tried to arrange it a few times when I was doing comedy in the South, but I think his health was not in the best of shape. Yeah. So never got to meet Kamla, and I'd love to hear a story from Marty about my other favorite, Sid Vicious. I never got to meet him, unfortunately.
Sid was my boy, man. It was so sad. He came on to do our show. He was doing coming up next day or two. And we just talked to. I just got off the phone with him for talking for an hour, reviewing stuff, and then I got the call. Like I said, it's gone. That made it sad. Just cutting up with him on the phone for an hour yesterday or the day before, and then you get that news. Sort of like what you did, when you said you left that message. Let me know what the hell's going on, why you can't be here. It's hearing having a good conversation with him, didn't hear that next day, just kind of not mule kicks you,
Yeah. I mean, was I wrong? I always thought of him and the Warrior as almost the same from the standpoint of they didn't like the business. They just had that. I mean, Sid had that amazing look.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
if he didn't get what he wanted, he's like, fuck it, I'll just go play softball.
Yeah, and that was the thing. He would no-show all the time when he was main event. And everybody trying to find out why you were main event. You were going to get paid good. What the hell? It was a softball tournament. Evidently, he was pretty damn good at it because we did celebrity softball. at one of the WrestleManias. I don't know which one, 6 maybe up in Toronto, wherever it was, maybe the one out in LA at 7, with celebrities versus the wrestlers. And Sid come up to that. We were mingled in with each other, put it that way, because I wasn't on the team with Sid, but he come up to bat and I'm playing the outfield. And it's kind of a shout. It's not like a major park. And I saw him coming up, so I ran back. You know, it was cutting up. You're doing charity stuff, and jumped over the fence and went, back there, and the whole place was laughing. And I stayed there, and everybody's like, "Get in here!" I'm like, "No, he'll not get here." Man, Sid, when he hit it, he went further than where I was on the other side of the fence. So he could tear the ball up, man.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
I got you a question from, I don't know that name. They said, Earl, did you ever meet Billy Jack Haynes?
Now, in what planet do you think me and Billy Jack Haynes would be in the same circuit?
I was kind of wondering myself.
No.
I had to ask.
One of my favorites, though, from that he was back in that era, and I'm embarrassed to say this in front of Marty, but no, until the internet came, I really thought the shit was real. So like,
that's our job, make you think that.
I mean, my first indication of maybe wrestling's a work is I'll never forget. I think it was Eddie Gilbert in the match. He broke his neck. And then a week later, he's in the main event. I'm like, Jesus, this guy's recovery. It's fucking unbelievable. Like, so no, but I never didn't. I don't even know how to say that name. Yovi Pick. It's got to be a wrestling fan. I never met Billy Jack Haynes.
Gotcha. Tommy said, did you ever watch any of the shows when Roddy had a visit with Kim Russo?
I did not. I don't know if. I'd be interested to hear Marty's response to this. I don't watch comedy or podcasts because I want to do them. So
yeah, I'm the same.
I mean, Marty, when you were wrestling, did you like to watch other wrestling?
Well, as I was in it, I would watch to see what the competition was doing, like when WWE against WCW.
Right.
Let me see what they're doing so I can throw in some suggestions for us. And just keep up with the product and the evolution of how the guys were getting better and better in the ring. But once I was out, I couldn't watch it for a while because it's like watching your wife with another man, unless you're into that. But you're watching your wife with another man, can't do it. So I couldn't watch wrestling for the longest time. It took me a while to watch it when I wasn't involved. And as soon as I got back in it, I would watch it when I was in it to see what's going on. Right. But when I wasn't part of it, I had to back away.
So yeah, I never saw any of the episodes with Roddy and Kim, but I'm sure they were funny. I mean, Roddy was awesome to work with. I mean,
who is Kim? Kim Russo? Because there was a few.
I don't know either. I was gonna ask the question. I was curious if Earl do because I wasn't.
I know before me there was no co-host.
No.
Roddy just kind of did it alone. And then after me there was nobody. I never met Kim, so I'm not sure who she was.
Yeah, me either. There's a Russo in the office, or was back in a few years back.
Only Russo I know is Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that guy was good for the business. Shit.
Yeah, I don't think that's a name you wanted to bring up around Roddy.
Yeah, he wasn't a fan, but Roddy was.
Few people actually.
Any name I brought up, Roddy would have a story.
Well, it's kind of true though. That's the same with me. I mean, when they mention the name, I got a story.
Yeah, I mean that's why you would be great at these comedy things. I could just be a plant in the crowd and say, "Hey, Bad News Alan," and you probably have a story
feed me the stories. Yeah.
So, but no, I didn't. Oh, another question. No.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Ben Meyer said, "Earl, was there a wrestler that legitimately made you not like wrestling?"
No, I mean, because I love the bad guys more than I do the faces. So I loved, all the. I mean, what got me into wrestling, I'll never forget this promo. I think it was like 77. I was watching Chavo Guerrero against Moondog Mayne, and I mean, this is like when I was a child, and Moondog Mayne opened up a can of Alpo and started eating it.
Oh, boy.
And this was not a gimmicked can. This was legit Alpo.
Oh, they do shit like that. The Moondogs. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in terms of, I loved really all the bad guys more than the good guys. So the bigger a-holes they were, the more I like MJF. I love him. He's hilarious.
Dude, he's amazing. Well, we was talking anytime anybody asks about like new talent or current talent, I think he's at the very top.
That's what a lot of people say. I've only seen him on what's it called? AEW.
He's your classic heel that you just don't see anymore, man.
Well, what I like about him is I love this generation of wrestlers that pay tribute to like Marty's generation. And
absolutely.
And you could tell MJF is, I don't want to say stealing, but borrowing the aura.
We call it creative borrowing.
Yeah.
You take somebody else's shit and do it, but tweak it just a bit. Okay, that's yours because you tweaked it a little.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of taking some creative license from Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, and maybe he does do the rope shake in tribute to Warrior. So, I mean, I love him, and a lot of people don't.
I tell you something cool. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Dude, he's doing the gimmick at all times. Anytime somebody comments on his stuff on Facebook, he's roasting them. And I was like, that's amazing. I think when kayfabe got outed, people stopped that. And I think it needs to come back. It's got to be really hard.
It really does, because it's like, okay, we may know that magic is magic, but a good magician is not going to give away his tricks, and that's the same thing with wrestling. Okay, you can know it in your head, but we don't need to put it in your face. And I used to get so mad about WWF at the time when the internet started coming around. Would post out there like what was coming on, and like teasers like they do for movies and shit.
Oh, they're so horrible about that too.
Yeah, and like one time I was making a surprise out of the audience appearance against Sean, and then it was a hell of a reaction. It was, but everybody was saying like, "Yeah, we knew you was gonna be here." It was on the internet. They said, well, "Marty Jannetty will be making a surprise appearance." What the fuck? Well, he ain't surprised no more.
Yeah, I mean, I think the internet's ruined wrestling. Like,
it has.
I mean, as a fan, my favorite part is still the surprises, and I remember when Warrior went to WCW. It was a Monday Night Nitro in Buffalo, and I'm on some stupid wrestling forum, and this guy's like, "Hey, I just saw the Warrior with his gear bag at the Buffalo airport." I'm like, "Oh, he's coming back tonight." So the surprise is totally ruined.
Yeah. I mean, you got
So,
well, and dude, I mean, if you go on any of the wrestling sites, it's like because of kayfabe, and the one bad thing I think about the guys talking about all the stories is it's like the fans are trying to be bookers now instead of being fans. They're constantly saying, "This is what you should book. This is what you should do."
God.
And it's like, go back to being a damn fan. You're not in the wrestling business. I don't mean that no disrespectful.
No.
I mean, I just, the problem now is that there's so few surprises that can be done. Like everyone, everyone's switched over. You can't. That's why I was so upset about Sting, because he was like the last person who never went to WWE, and they totally bungled his storyline, and so now you can't really. I mean, the Undertaker's come back a bunch, Hogan's come back a bunch. Kurt Angle, I don't think he's physically able to come back, so now you have to survive on your storylines.
Yeah. They
totally fucked that up with Sting, man.
I mean, Triple H, what? Like,
he didn't need it.
I had the perfect storyline, but I've been trying to get a writing gig for AEW, because I mean, good wrestling is not that hard to write. Marty, am I wrong? If you
No, you're not wrong at all. No.
Like, it's why I like the movie Predator, and I don't mean the documentary on LA Comedy. It's I've seen the movie Predator 100 times, and I still get excited at the parts you should be because the writing is so good.
Right.
And, like, you have good guy, bad guy, or good girl, bad girl, and give the crowd a reason to hate Marty Jannetty, and give the crowd a reason to like whoever you're going up against. And bam, it's not that hard. And
preconditioning, they call it.
Have you been able to get in touch with anybody over there?
Well, I do know a lot of wrestlers at AEW, and they say Tony Khan is a very hard person to get a 5-minute meeting with, but I'm working on some things.
I talk to him often. Let's talk after the show.
Well, it's even been approached to me that maybe I would be a good heel manager.
Dude, I think you're perfect. That's the reason. Like the combo with you and Roddy was great.
Well, I have no problem being a bad guy. So
no, because like you were saying earlier, you liked all the bad guys. I think the word society started changing to that during the Rock and Stone Cold, like they were the bad guys. But their shit was so good, and what people loved, they fell in love with the bad guys. And like, shit is flipping. Bad guys are going to be good, and good guys are going to be candy, candy ass.
I mean, to me, that's the perfect, like the NWO. And I'm only talking about the original NWO, not the shit with Virgil and Horace Hogan.
You didn't like Virgil?
I love Virgil, and I became friends with him. He, I know his managers, and they make him do a lot of that shit, posing in empty autograph booths and shit.
They might have had him, design some shit for him like that. But at the same time, Virgil and I were good friends, and I think he was just either laser focused of where he wanted to be, or he just didn't have a whole lot of variation in his mind. All he wanted to talk about, Marty, we gotta make that money, Marty. We'll make some money. Or we're on the airplane. Here's an example of how he was about dick size and all and shit like that. I mean, we'd be in the shower.
Your question's finally answered, Earl.
So the shower. And Virgil had a hanger on him. And when he'd come in the shower, he would do it on purpose. He'd get the pose. They got 3 showers. You see him coming. Don't come. Just 3 posts in here. It goes to one because he'd get next to you, start washing it, turn real fast, sling his ding-a-ling to hit you in the thigh. Like, God damn, man. But he was so obsessed with that because everybody always gave him props on it. He like one time he could be embarrassing. We was on an airplane and the stewardess was very upset, very pretty girl, very upset, pushing the cart down the thing. And he asked me, hey, what's wrong with you? Just some boyfriend problems. And he goes, he ain't got a big dick, does he? I mean, out loud. He ain't got a big dick, does he? Out loud, the plane, they're all like, the wrestlers were just like this. Oh, no.
I mean,
but that was my boy, man. You can't take him the good with the bad.
So at the Ric Flair roast, that was on Friday, and then Saturday they had like a Comic-Con, but for wrestling. And I think it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life was Virgil spent 10 minutes trying to convince this 8-year-old kid to buy a $2 a month phone app. I mean,
I heard of some of those stories, man.
But he was really grinding this. This kid was 8 years old, and Virgil's like, yeah, man, give me your credit card. I mean, yeah.
That's Virg.
But, and then his managers made him give me they made him autograph a picture for me for free. And you would have thought I punched his mom in the gut.
Oh, he bitched about that. That's $20. That's $20.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said. His managers were, who also managed the Iron Sheik. They were like, just sign the fucking picture. And he said, to Earl, I've got a 14-inch dick. I can't take this to a frame store. Like, are you crazy?
Now there goes somebody. Did you ever get to meet Sheiky Baby?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was on the roast of the Iron Sheik at the Comedy Store. And
he did the Killers of Comedy too, right?
I wasn't around for that. They did a one-off roast for him at the Comedy Store, and I was asked to dress as the Ultimate Warrior. And I'm like, why do you want me to dress like him? He's like, well, the Sheik hates him, and he's so crazy, he'll think it's actually Warrior.
I saw that.
Now, Marty,
I missed it. I got to see it.
And he fell for it.
I've got a great body for a comic, but I don't look like the Ultimate Warrior. So I had my friend who's a makeup artist. She puts the fucking makeup on to perfection. It gets me the arm tassels, the boots, the Speedos. And I walk back into the green room at the Comedy Store, and the Iron Sheik is speaking with David Arquette, who was the host. And Sheik looks up at me and goes, "You fucking faggot," and tries to fight me. Sorry about the language. My bad.
That's Sheik for you.
It was my boy, man. I've told the story and it's long, so I won't tell it now. But got some trouble helping me out with a girl in Des Moines, Iowa, and we became close ever after that. Closer, we were already friends. But it's funny, man. We'd ride together, and he'd get a few beers in me and another one of the wrestlers, and him. Yeah, or sometimes 4 to a car, but he just bust out in the middle of silence, goes, "Fuck the Hulk Hogan." And we're all, where'd that come from? Nobody was talking about wrestling, it was just traveling to the next town. Fucking Hogan. And I'm like, "Well, what happened, brother?" He goes, "Marty, you and I, Kentucky thoroughbreds, that Hogan and his people, they jackasses." He just hated. A lot of people said, "Now that was just part of the show." Oh, for some reason, I don't know when they were together if there was any friction, but when they were apart, Sheik's always cussing him. Fuck the Hulk.
Dude, I've seen
Hogan. They had to be fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he seemed to be friend. I got to ask this, though, Marty, because this is a comment, and I think everybody will love to hear this. Brian says, best Sheik story is the one Marty told about when he clotheslined the girl for doing his coke and not giving him some pussy. I got to hear this.
The story?
Yeah.
We went to a little bar at the hotel we were staying at. And, we all might know, I guess, when you got lots of followers, you want something, you got somebody there already, but you want to find some new stuff. And so you station the girl at one spot, go around roaming. Sometimes you got 2 girls there and you got to get the spot to keep them far apart and look for others. This particular night, I saw a new one that was nice to me. And I had a girl with me sitting at the table with me and Sheik. And I went back to Sheik and said, "Hey, brother, you watch her for me. I'll be back in a few minutes to go mess with that other girl." And she, "Marty, I'd do anything for you." And I'm like, "Thank you." I walked off and ended up going back to my room with the girl that I went to look at. And, time went by. We were having a good time doing, things that you do like that. And it was a knock at the door. And I'm like, got to be one of the boys. I'm not getting up for that. There's police there, police. And I'm like, okay, that's probably Coco Beware messing with me. But I went and looked through a peephole and it was the police out there. Opened the door. Yeah. Where's Cosro? His real name. And I, at the time, didn't know it. I just knew him as Sheik. That's all we call him. And I said, I have no idea. You know who it is, the Sheik. I said, "Oh, I don't even know. I don't know where he's at, but I know who you're talking about." But they ended up leaving. And when they did, I'm thinking, I left him with that girl, and now the police are looking for him. So in his room, I knew exactly where his room was. It was right down the hall from me. So I ran down that hall, and as I go down that hall to his room, that big ass picture window thing, I see an ambulance, a police car, and they're rolling this gurney, and she's on it. She's on the gurney. I'm like, what the fuck? And then so I go tapping the hell out of the Sheik's door to find out what's going on. And he cracks the door with the chain still on. I said, "Hey, Sheik, the police are looking for you." I go, "No, Marty, hold on." Let's say opens the door. He goes, "Marty, please let me explain." And I'm like, "Man, Sheik, the girl." He was like, "When you leave me with girl, I look out for you. And I bring her to the room. I give her coke. I give her smoke. I give her pills. I give her wine. And after all that, Marty, she say, where Marty? I said, no disrespect. I said, fucking the Marty. Did Marty give you Coke? Did Marty give you pills? Did Marty give you wine? Fuck you. And I give her short clothesline. I said, short clothesline. At that point, I didn't know what a short clothesline was. But I said, a short clothesline. He goes, Marty, like right here. I said, she's on a gurney out there. Marty, she moved. She not know how to work. And he did get lawsuited out of that, though. Or I don't know what the final decision was, but yeah, he was different. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
That's
in a
so
fun
awesome.
way.
I want to ask you real quick before we get one thing I was thinking about, and I wanted to get way earlier, Earl. Like, was you in the California area around that 1977?
Oh yeah, I mean, I used to go to shows all the time at the Olympic Auditorium. And
So, what territory was it that you predominantly watched growing up?
I mean, I know WWF would come out here, but I forget. I was so young, I don't remember the actual territory. I mean, it was. I remember some of the. Trying to think. They had their own version of Hulk Hogan out here. The Golden Greek, John Tolos. He was like the big.
I don't think I ever met him, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was like the big. I guess you'd say marquee attraction. And then the Guerreros were out here. And Roddy was he would I know he was in Portland a lot, but
Portland,
he would, wrestle out here as well. So, and then I think, as Marty knows, as we all know, WWF just started buying the territories.
Yeah. And I'm waiting for him to buy AEW, but not yet, I guess.
I mean, I hope that doesn't happen, but
neither do the wrestlers, because you're monopolized if there's only one company. When there's a different company, you can at least stand up for yourself, and if they balk at it, go to the next company.
And
but
I do
they can treat you however they want to.
I mean, I think Tony Khan he's just a fan with money.
That's it, man.
A ton of money, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like me, but with a couple extra zeros at the end of the bank. But I watched that Omega Okada thing on Dynamite 2 weeks ago. It was like a 25-minute thing, and there's no way that would fly in WWE, like a 25-minute match.
Yeah, I didn't do that. The one I had with Kurt Angle on a SmackDown on one of my returns went about 20-something minutes, and that's all everybody talked about. Like, wow, that was a good match, and they don't do 20-minute matches on TV no more. At that time, that was 2005 or 2009, something like that. But yeah, you don't see them long matches, and basically, you want to do those at the house shows because you're basically giving free stuff at the TV shows. So you want to condense it a little bit. So you go to the house show, that's when you lay it out for them.
But that's the only problem with AEW is that they don't really do house shows.
That's what I heard.
I know they're out here in 2 weeks in Ontario, and they're doing both shows in the same night, which I understand for the financial aspects of it. You want to bang out 2 shows in one night, but sometimes the crowd in that second show, which is their B show is Collision, it's pretty dead because they've already sat through 3 hours.
Well, that's what happened with WWE too. A lot of places, first they have what they call dark matches, so, not being televised to warm up the crowd and to give tryouts and just matches to get the crowd going. And then the first, it was 3 hours we would film, first hour, second hour, third. After the first hour, they were into it, but they start coming down. Certain cities stay there, but a lot of cities, like what you were just saying, they start dying down because you got to figure time you get to that third hour. Now you're putting on your big stars, and the fans are like this. They're worn out. They're worn out. They already seen 4 hours of wrestling. You better do something very different.
Yeah, I went to AEW in Bakersfield, of all places, and it's just like what you described. The couple dark matches that took up about 30 minutes, and then Dynamite, which is their big show, was 2 hours, and then at the time they had I guess you'd call it their C show, Rampage, which was only an hour. But, man, that crowd was dead for the Rampage matches. So I'll be interested to see how a 4 hour, it's basically a 4 hour show in 2 weeks. So, and I think it's their last Dynamite Collision before their big pay-per-view in Texas. So
the Dynamite Collision is the one I can watch here. I'm sure they're on there somewhere, so many channels. But that's their main show, Collision.
Dynamite's their, I guess you'd call it A show, and then Collision is their B show, which usually airs on Saturday nights.
Okay.
So, but with their pay-per-view, they're not going to London this year. I think their WrestleMania this year is in Texas, July 12th. So
they've been planning that one for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be interested. This is where I would love to sit down with Tony Khan, and obviously it's too late for this pay, but it's like there's very few matches on the card, and it's like you guys got 3 weeks, like
you can't do that, man.
Well, not if you're trying to play a fucking stadium.
I know, dude. And that is where so many promoters, I think, just mess up. I mean, you could have a free concert with Metallica, a week from now, but if people don't know about it,
nobody. Yeah, that's what I tell the indie guys, on the circuit, the indie circuit. I mean, they could get if they landed Hulk Hogan for their show, they sit back and go, "Yeah, we got Hulk. We're good. Don't worry about nothing." Well, nobody's going to show up if they know you have them. If you don't advertise it.
And yeah, dude, I mean, that is, if I'm not wrong, they're playing like 100,000 seater, aren't they?
I mean, I think they're playing the baseball stadium, which has got to be, there's different configurations. So,
okay.
Like the baseball stadium, I'm assuming the stage would be basically from center field to second base. You could cheat it 45,000, 50,000, but that's still a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's massive. I know at one point in time there was rumblings about AT&T Stadium. So
I mean, well, that's the problem. Like we were all just saying, that you got to have a big surprise. You got to say, hey, maybe I don't know, maybe Brock Lesnar's coming to AEW or something.
Stone Cold Steve Austin could pull it off.
Or Goldberg. Didn't Goldberg just make an appearance?
Well, Goldberg lives well, I don't know if he wants it. I'll say Goldberg lives in Texas. He's in that area.
So, I mean, but you got to tease it now. I know.
He's going back to WWE, so that's not happening.
Well, I know
there's where his boy's at, right? Or is trying to go? Goldberg's son's trying to get in the.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no. He's still playing football.
He's into football right now. And I know one time they had the Von Erichs, but the Von Erichs with Kevin, they went out there in like 1,000-seat arena several times. So, I mean, they're going to have to have something really, really big to pull that off. Absolutely.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is, there was that picture of the Young Bucks with Shane McMahon maybe a couple months ago that, I mean, but you got to tease it now.
It's not time.
You said it was Shane McMahon, right?
Yeah,
Shane was talking about at one point in time. Well, I know he was talking to Tony.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That Shane was going to come in and take over, not buy it.
Right.
But
it made sense after you watched the Vince McMahon documentary. You could kind of, I don't know, I sensed a little bit of axe to grind between Shane and Triple H. I'm not.
Oh, absolutely. And so I just don't see Vince going away quietly.
Well, that would be a great way for Shane to stick it to Triple H.
You damn right.
You want to take over my dad's company and kind of freeze me out? Well, I'm going to go make AEW something bigger.
Well, now there's pretty big rumblings that TKO might be interested in selling WWE, and Vince is trying to get it back.
Well, hopefully Janelle Grant gets a good job out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
She put up with a lot of shit.
I mean,
that was my stand-up for the night. Was it okay, Earl?
I mean, it's good. You could be the host with that joke.
There we go.
Marty will be the headliner.
There we go.
We're about to start wrapping this up really quick. I've enjoyed this so much. I did want to ask you though, man, like out of all that you got to do, what was one of your favorite memories with Roddy, Earl?
Wow. I mean, just
That's a good question. Yeah.
I mean, you know, and this goes to Marty too. Like, you guys are superheroes to us. Like, you're larger than life figures. So,
hey, let me time out rather than ask you a question out of curiosity. When you got a larger than life hero like that, then you meet him and then you hang around. Once you start hanging around like you did with Roddy, doesn't that hero thing as a kid or younger years, does that ease up or does that stay right there? It's always the guy I used to watch.
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Like, you know, I lived in LA my whole life, so I've been around celebrities my whole since I was born. You know, O.J. Simpson was my neighbor as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
He was nice to me. Thank God I wasn't a blonde with big tits. And then Elvis Presley, toward the end of his life, was my neighbor. So I think I was raised. I you know, with Roddy it was different just because literally
he's a different person.
You know, 100%. And it made, he was so cool and nice. Like, every wrestler I've ever met, and I've never met Stone Cold, so I'll leave him out, but it's made me a bigger fan because I think if you and I, Marty, ever had dinner together, would I ask you some questions about wrestling? Yeah, sure. But I would treat you like a human. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, Marty, let me.
No, and that would be fine. That's what we do, you know. And some people don't want to talk shop after they're done with work.
Sure.
But I'm kind of I'm different in that. I like to know what people are curious about, you know.
But I will say, to answer the question, that the greatest night with Roddy ever was when he brought Sergeant Slaughter and Hacksaw Jim Duggan to the Comedy Store.
What a crew.
And everyone came and got me. Earl, you got to get on stage now. You won't believe who's in the crowd. And like, so I get up there and I start doing a Ric Flair impression and, you know, doing some wrestling jokes and just Sergeant Slaughter's in the crowd giving me the "we're not worthy" thing. And I'm like, hey, Sergeant, I know you don't know who I am. He's like, I do, son. You're my favorite comic. And I'm like, well, don't call me son. We're probably about the same age. So, but just to have three of you guys in the same room was just.
I imagine, yeah.
I mean, it was just like, as you could tell, I'm still like in awe of the experience.
And ain't that such a good thing, though? That's a great thing when you get to feel that. You know, like I was the same way, like in wrestling events that we'd go to in the cities at the football team. Like, we'd go to Buffalo. Half the Buffalo Bills would be backstage because they're huge fans. And I would be like you said, I'd just be in awe. Like, oh, man, because I'm big into football. And they were good at that time. So we're just like, oh, shit, look, man, here's what's his name. There's what's his name. There's what's his name. And they're, back there shaking our hands like, oh, I love you. That's cool, the camaraderie you gain by two different industries.
Yeah, I mean, I also think, like I've said a few times, like wrestling and comedy, it's really the same lifestyle in terms of the travel and, obviously you guys have to be more physically fit than us, but.
Oh, well, not necessarily. Some aren't.
Abdullah. I mean, I don't know how he flew on an airplane, but
he had to buy 2 seats for him.
Well, my favorite, it's a joke I kind of do on stage, but when obviously Andre the Giant flew to Japan, like at some point in the flight, he had to take a dump, and they literally put a bucket in coach, and he would just take a dump in coach, and it's not like you could open up the airplane door and like just toss the bucket out.
Well, yeah,
that bucket's on there.
Oh, dude.
Rodney. Remember Rodney Yokozuna?
Yeah,
he got up pretty damn big. I remember we were wrestling in Miami, and he's at that point about 450, 500 pounds. He just kept getting big. But he went to the toilet. He had, I gotta move, I gotta go. And then he runs in here. Oh, so we're like, damn, what did he blow the toilet up? When he sat, I think he sat so hard, but it broke the toilet in half and all over the floor. And that's got to be. What does that tell you about yourself? I just went to shit and broke the toilet before I could get the shit out.
Maybe have a better diet. I mean,
yeah. Well, they tried so hard with him, man. They gave him the best dietitian. Dietitian, is that a word?
Yeah, that's it.
But they and he came down from, I think it was 6'10" to 580 or something. But even 580, get down to 500, get down to 4, it was a long way to go, but he was trying.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, like, I knew there was a comic by the name of Ralphie May who was.
Oh, dude, I loved Ralphie.
When I met Ralphie, he was probably 700 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the time of death, he was 594 and got cremated. How'd you like to be the guy who took that order?
Wow.
Dude, so much talent.
Yeah, no, he was great, but you can't be fucking hundreds of pounds overweight to make it. But I just have one quick last Roddy story because I know we got to go. But
okay.
So when Roddy passed away, they had his memorial at the Comedy Store, and no one wanted to host it because they were all too sad. So they said, Earl, you got to host it. And as you can tell, Marty, in these last 60 minutes, you could probably tell I'm not ideal to host a memorial. And so I'm, Roddy's family's there. There's Diamond Dallas Page and Josh Barnett, UFC heavyweight champ, and all these luminaries, Gene LaBelle. And so, hey, guys, I want to start this out. There's a lot of famous people in the crowd, but a lot of people wanted to be here, but they couldn't make it. Kamala wanted to be here. He's actually rolling down Sunset right now. He'll be here in a few minutes. Dead silence, and the only thing I heard was DDP in the back going, "Oh my God."
That's something too that we got in common. You're talking about the parallels, a lot of the same common grounds. As a wrestler, when you do something in the ring or when you come out, you either want to cheer or a boo. You don't want crickets.
Yeah, no, I mean the worst.
Crickets is worst.
That's why when bad guys get booed, I mean, don't they know? Hey, I'm doing my job if they're booing me.
Yeah, exactly. If that's your job and you're not doing it, sometimes the heels would come out and wave at people and pose. That's not a heel, bro. Don't wave at the people friendly like you're supposed to be aided.
Sounds like a lot of them just didn't understand what you were doing.
Well, like I said, I'm not a guy who should host a memorial of one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, but it was a very special night at the store. I mean, Keith David got up and spoke, and for you wrestling fans who don't know who Keith David is, he was in the iconic movie They Live with Roddy. And just Chavo Guerrero Jr. told this amazing story about Roddy and his father, and so it was an awesome night, and like the whole room was crying, and so Roddy, to show you how much Roddy meant to us. I don't know what the wrestling equivalent would be, but like when you get to be a paid regular at the Comedy Store, you get your name on the wall. It's like the Stanley Cup. You get your name on the cup if you win it. Roddy's name is on the wall. And
dude.
So, I mean, that would be like putting me in the WWE Hall of Fame. I guess that's about the equivalent. So
he had a passion for your business, man. I mean, you could hear it.
Wrestlers and comics, we respect each other. A lot of wrestlers want to be comics.
Some of them shouldn't, though.
100%. There's a lot of comics who shouldn't be comics. But I can't say I wanted to be a wrestler, but I grew up. The first manager I really fell for was the Wizard. The guy who'd wear that fucking beanie. And I've,
that was a while back, bro.
Oh, I know. I'm old, Marty.
Well, I'm right there with you.
But I didn't even know that guy was gay until the internet told me. So,
right.
I mean, I guess the hat and wraparound glasses probably should have told me, but
you'd be surprised. Well, maybe not. I mean, because you're in the industry pretty much. Yeah, you just be surprised. We don't care. Do what you like to do. You like guys, have at it. Not me. Don't come at me. Do what you do. It ain't bother me. I'm still getting with this lady tonight.
But, I don't care. Who's gay and who isn't.
Sometimes you get shocked by it. The first time I heard Rick Martel. I ain't gonna say no names. First time I heard this one particular guy was, and I'm like, no way. Sometimes it shocks you. You don't think that person would be, because the best looking guy in the industry don't like girls. Not even like girls.
I think with Rick Martel, pussy was the gateway drug to dick.
Oh boy.
See, Marty, I don't mind. I'll be the bad guy. Fuck it.
I'm good with it.
let me be your manager on your comeback. I'll get us heat.
Yeah, I need to turn. I need to damn turn, because all my years there was one run that got to be the bad guy, and it was down in Tennessee territory with the Jarretts, and they made us heels. Everybody always wanted to see. They always say, God, we'd love to see the Rock and Roll Express versus the Rockers, because both styles and images. Well, we did it in Tennessee, and they were great matches. Some of my favorite, but nobody was seeing them because we're in a small territory that had been worn out. So not that many. It'd be about 500. When we did Memphis itself, we did 1,000 people, which is small, for what we like.
Sure.
But yeah, man, that's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, man, I have enjoyed this so much. I'm about to start wrapping it up. We've been going for a little while. Earl, where can everybody keep up with you and everything you got going on?
You can find me on gayman.org. And no, I'm just kidding.
Pat
Patterson will be there.
Yes, you can find me at patpatterson.net. No, here's the only good thing I've done in comedy for 25 years. You can find me on all social media just under my name, Earl Skakel, all one word. And I must say, Marty, the honor has been all mine. And thank you again for.
Oh, thank you, brother. Come back around sometime, man. It's been fun.
I will. We'll do an introspective on how black wrestlers were treated on camera.
Okay. I got some good to add to that. That'll be fun.
And thank you guys both for I love talking wrestling. I can't really, none of my friends like wrestling, so I just talk to my dog about it.
Well, as long as he's okay with it.
Well, no,
dude, you belong in the business.
I really do. Like, AEW needs a pop. Come on, Tony Khan. I know you're going to listen to this. Enough with Prince Nana shilling his coffee every week. Come on, man. Holy fuck, is that horrible?
Well, guys, also make sure like, share, subscribe, and get over there to martyjannetty.com and get you some of that merchandise he was flashing earlier.
And hit me up on Facebook. I'm over there a lot.
And guys, tag the WWE. This man needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Marty definitely belongs there. Earl, I'd love to see you on Rogan, man. Why has that never happened?
I mean, he asked me once, and I fumbled the execution of it. Long story short, he came up to me at the Comedy Store kitchen. He was a little high. He's like, Earl, it's time you're on the podcast. And I didn't want to act too excited. So he's like, here's my number. And to get Joe Rogan's phone number is the.
Oh, yeah. He's talked about you several times. I've never understood why it's never happened.
And then, I'm so nice, Marty, too nice for my own good. I was like, I'm not going to call him tomorrow. I'm going to wait 2 days just so he can have 1 day of someone not saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. So I call him 2 days later. I say, hey, let's get you in next Wednesday. And I could tell he forgot. And I'm like, I panicked. I'm like, I'm just calling to say hello, man. That's all.
Dude, please follow up on that. I would love to see that. You belong on there, man.
Yeah,
I don't feel like you got your just
a great addition to any show.
And let me tell you, WWE, if you're listening to this, it's a fucking crime that you don't have Marty Jannetty. Fuck Shawn Michaels. There's no Shawn Michaels without Marty Jannetty.
Or Sheik would say, "Oh, fucking that Shawn Michaels."
Yeah, fuck that balding bastard. He just Marty Jannetty. Coco Beware's in the fucking Hall of Fame. Come on, man.
Arquette, I think, is Dave Arquette.
I mean,
he was world champion for what, a day or two or a week?
Yeah, that movie was horrible, Ready to Rumble. But I'm an Arquette mark. But Vince, Paul Levesque, if you're listening, put Marty Jannetty in with the group of people you just put. You didn't even put Kamala in the main wing. You got the legacy. Fuck the legacy thing. Put Marty. I'll bring him up and I'll talk shit to Shawn Michael right in his face for not only not being loyal to Marty Jannetty, but for firing Sid as his bodyguard.
Dude, I want to see it.
Okay, brothers.
Yeah. Fuck you, Michaels.
Thank you, Earl. Appreciate you, man.
All right, guys. See y'all next time.
We'll all stay in touch.
But yeah, fuck off.